Welcome back to Birds of a Feather. This is your daily Baltimore sports podcast. My name is Nathan Stroud, and today we're going to be recapping Orioles versus Brewers Game 2 of this series. And once again, as I've now said 32 times this season, the Orioles lose. They lose 5-2 to the Brewers in this game, and that means that they have also officially lost their third straight series in a row, and tomorrow they will be trying to avoid their third straight sweep in a row. They're on an 8-game losing streak. They've lost 8 straight games. They are on the verge of getting swept for their third straight series. And this team is a complete and utter disaster. If it wasn't as obvious already, this team is an absolute disaster. And this game went very similar to the game that happened yesterday against the Brewers, where the Brewers got out to an early 3-run lead. The Orioles offense, in the beginning of the game, completely stalled and didn't do anything. And then in the later innings, the Orioles today were able to go out there and put up 2 runs in the 7th inning. They were down 3-0 going into the 7th inning. They were able to put up 2 runs from a Ramon Urias RBI single and a Jackson Holliday RBI triple on back-to-back at-bats. Those were the runs that they were able to score, and they got a little bit of momentum once again, just like they did in Game 1 of this series, where Cedric Mullins hit that 3-run homer to tie the game. They were able to cut the game within 1 in the 7th inning of this game, going into the 8th inning down by 1 run, and then the bullpen just completely gave this game up and kind of put the nail in the coffin, and they let up 2 runs in the 8th inning, and that officially put the nail in the coffin as the Orioles lose 5-2 to the Brewers. So going over this game, at this point I kind of just sound like a record player, playing the same thing on repeat because, again, this is 8 straight losses for this Orioles team, and they are on the verge of getting swept for the 3rd straight time if they do lose tomorrow. And we do have Tomoyuki Sugano on the mound tomorrow, so I am obviously confident that we can not get swept, but, you never know with this Orioles team when you never know at this point. This is one of the most bizarre and disappointing and pathetic seasons I've ever watched out of any of my sports teams in my entire life. Just due to the expectation, due to the future, due to all the elements combined into what the future of this Orioles team looks like. When you take all that into account, this is a complete disaster of a season already. It keeps getting worse and worse and worse. I thought we were at rock bottom when we were like 7 or 8 games below 500, and now we're 17 games below 500. We're 15-32, and we're on pace to go 52-110. So, this really does feel like rock bottom for this Orioles team. But going over this Orioles and Brewers game, the Orioles offense was actually able to out-hit the Milwaukee Brewers in this game. They out-hit them 8-7, so the Orioles put up 8 total hits. They scored only 2 runs off of those 8 hits. Jackson Holliday in the leadoff spot goes 1 for 4. Obviously has the big RBI triple to put the Orioles within 1. Adley Rutschman goes 1 for 4. Gunnar Henderson 1 for 4. Ramon Laureano goes 0 for 2. And Ramon Laureano in this game also sprained his ankle and had to get taken out of the game, and he's most likely going to be being put on IR. So once again, that is another Oriole that goes down due to injury, and it just so happens to be one of the hottest Orioles hitters on the team in Ramon Laureano, who has been kind of that rotational outfielder with Colton and Tyler O'Neill gone. Ramon Laureano's gotten pretty much everyday playing time, and he's been doing great. He's been one of the Orioles' better hitters here recently, especially with those injuries going on. And now Ramon Laureano sprained his ankle on a fly ball. It was one of the most disastrous situations ever. He kind of tripped over himself and sprained his ankle on a fly ball, and now Ramon Laureano is going to be out. I don't know how long. I don't think it's going to be too long, but still, that's another injury. And the way that injury happened completely just recaps this Orioles season in a whole. An absolute disaster. It was. I don't even want to blame Ramon Laureano, but he kind of tripped. It was just a really unfortunate scenario. But Ramon Laureano, obviously one of the Orioles' most hottest hitters recently, with the injuries to Tyler O'Neill and Colton Cowser. He's been getting a lot of playing time. And, he's out. And I don't know how long he's going to be out for, but I'm guessing we're going to be seeing a lot of Dylan Carlson more. Obviously, Heston Kjerstad still, and, maybe even Ryan O'Hearn out in, right field. So, I mean, who knows? Who knows at this point what's going to happen with this Orioles team? Ryan O'Hearn goes 0 for 2. Ryan Mountcastle goes 2 for 4. He is the only Oriole with a multi-hit game. Cedric Mullins goes 1 for 4. Heston Kjerstad 0 for 4. Ramon Urias goes 1 for 3 and drives in the other run of the game. So the offense was very boring. Didn't really do anything. Didn't really capitalize on anything. Didn't hit any home runs. Unlike the Brewers, who hit 3 home runs in this game. One from Bryce Terang, one from Rhys Hoskins, and one from Sam Frelick. So, again, the Orioles lose a game. I've said this now, 32 times this year, so it's getting a little old, obviously. Frustration, anger, and just sadness and confusion is what really fills the Orioles fan base right now. And actually just in awe of what we're watching, and how Mike Elias in this front office was able to turn this future dynasty team, a team that was in position to potentially and most likely be a team that was going to take over not just the American League but the MLB over the next 5, 6, 7, maybe even 8 years, with this young core of generational players like Jackson Holliday, Gunnar Henderson, Adley Rutschman, Jordan Westburg, Colton Cowser, and Samuel Basallo in your farm, and Kobe Mayo in your farm, and all of these guys. And they go out there, again, they don't capitalize on the opportunity to go make the biggest need of the team in this offseason was starting pitching, and they don't go out there and improve it at all. They make it worse. They let their 2 biggest free agents walk. They replace it with very subpar and just trash talent, and this is what you get. And even with all of that going on, this team still shouldn't be this bad, but they are. And we have to live with the fact that they are. It's confusing, and it's so concerning and odd that this is really happening. And I don't even know if it's really hit me yet, the fact that we're 17 games below 500, when literally a year ago today, we had the best record in the entire MLB. So that's a little odd. That's a little weird, and that's really not supposed to happen. Where a year later, you're one of the worst teams in baseball. When the year prior, you were you had the best record in baseball. So that's a little confusing. That's a little odd. Obviously, this management with David Rubenstein and Mike Elias has shown the Orioles fan base and shown the city of Baltimore that they do not care about winning. They don't care about making this team any better. They care about drafting guys, developing guys, and just seeing where it goes and being cheap. David Rubenstein is one of the richest owners in baseball, and we still don't go out and decide to make any sort of splash moves. And the only splash move that we made was obviously 2 years ago, trading for Corbin Burns. We had him for a year. He put up one of the best seasons by an Oriole pitcher ever, and then we don't decide to re-sign him. So just unfortunate. Obviously, this is a little bit of a rant, just kind of talking about why this team is in the position that they are. But going over the pitching for today, this was like a semi-bullpen game. Obviously, we don't have like enough starting pitchers on our roster to even really do anything. But Keegan Aiken was going to get the first inning in this game, and then we're going to have Chase McDermott go as long as he could. So it wasn't really a bullpen game. It really was Chase McDermott starting. But Keegan Aiken got the start. He went the first inning. No hits, no runs, 2 strikeouts, did his thing, did great. Then Chase McDermott comes into the game, who is a pitcher in AAA for the Norfolk Tides. We called him up. He goes 4.2 innings, gives up 4 hits, 3 runs, 5 walks in 4.2 innings, 2 strikeouts, and gives up 2 home runs on a 75 pitch count across 4.2 innings. An absolutely horrible game, but at the same time, this is like an average game for an Orioles pitcher, so it really wasn't anything crazy. Brian Baker comes into the game. He gives up 0 runs. He does his thing. He's been great all year also. He's been really like the best Orioles reliever. And then Felix Bautista, and this was really the most heartbreaking part of the game. Felix Bautista, when the Orioles were down by only 1 run and they were in the game and they had life, Felix Bautista goes 0.2 innings, gives up 2 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and a homer, and a 26 pitch count. And Felix Bautista, made this game pretty much unwinnable in the 8th inning. It was unfortunate. It was sad to see him, give up those runs, obviously, for how dominant he is. His ERA is now at a 3.95, which isn't necessarily where you want your closer to be. And then Cionel Perez obviously came into the game, gave up a hit, and, he didn't give up a run. So, again, this Orioles team is a complete disaster. There's no other way around it. Obviously, you want to stay positive. Obviously, you want to think that they can maybe come back into the season, which again, I'm going to keep saying it. I still think that they can come back into the season. I still think that they can find a way, go on a run, do something. I think when Jordan Westburg, Colton Cowser, and these guys start coming back, I think this team is going to find its new life and hopefully go on a run. It's going to be a long journey to get back out of this hole that we're in, and it keeps getting deeper and deeper, and it keeps getting worse and worse. But if this Orioles team is able to come out of this hole and, end up in the playoffs, which at this point seems like a literal dream, it would be one of the better stories in baseball, and we'll see what happens with it. But this Orioles team it really sucks, and it's really disappointing why we're in this position. And we're in this position not due to the players, we're in this position due to our management completely failing this team, failing their players. I know, like, Gunnar and Adley and guys like that wanted to say that they failed Brandon Hyde when we fired him, but our front office failed us. Us as the fans, the players, everything. They failed this team. And it's just unfortunate the way that things are going on right now. Obviously, they have to turn this around quick. I don't know when it's going to be. I don't know what's going to happen. I keep saying that the Orioles need to turn this around, turn the season around, go on a run, do something, and they just haven't been able to do that. And as the days go on, as the games go on, we get deeper and deeper into the season. And it's still only May. We're in late May now, and the Orioles' record in May is even worse than it was in June or in April. But we'll see what the Orioles can do. Hopefully, they can end May off on a little bit of a hot streak, and then from June on into the dog days of summer can carry it on and do well this upcoming summer. But it's going to be a long year. Obviously, every single game, I'm recapping every single Orioles game, recapping every single game, talking about it, talking about any Ravens news that goes on as well. We're going to be talking about training camp and all that stuff coming up as well. But obviously, the Orioles take main priority because we do watch them play every single day. So, and even if you go to the MLB and you go to the scores, the Pirates won today and the White Sox won today. So the Orioles are ever so closely inching their way to being the second worst team in baseball in terms of record. And obviously the Orioles do play tomorrow in Game 3 of this series. We've got Tomoyuki Sagano on the mound. They've got Chad Patrick on the mound, who's wearing number 39 for the Brewers. Obviously, Corbin Burns used to wear that number. But Tomoyuki Sagano, obviously, he's been incredible this year. He's been one of the only bright spots of the season. Chad Patrick has been solid. He's been okay. He hasn't been, nothing too crazy. But he's been doing his thing. So hopefully the Orioles can go out here and get a win, avoid getting swept, and then hopefully just move on with that. Some very positive news about some injuries is that Colton Cowser is starting his, not his double-A, I think he's starting his rehab start. I think tomorrow. I actually think it is with double-A. So Colton Cowser starting his rehab starts should hopefully, potentially, maybe be coming back somewhat soon. Maybe in the next month he'll be back. We'll see. So that's obviously exciting. Jordan Westbrook should be back soon. Andrew Kittredge should also be back soon. And Grayson Rodriguez is about to start throwing again. So that's some progress on that injury. But the Orioles do play again tomorrow, obviously, in this game. Hopefully they can avoid getting swept. If we go over here and look at the standings, the Orioles are 13 games back of first place from the New York Yankees. They're last in the division, obviously. 1-9 in their last 10 games. They've lost 8 straight games. And it feels like rock bottom for this Orioles team. And thank you guys so much again for tuning into and listening to this episode of Birds of a Feather. If you like this content, make sure to subscribe on YouTube, follow up on the Spotify. I appreciate all the support, all the comments, all the kind words. I appreciate you guys so much. This Orioles season has been very disappointing. We've been, dragging our way through it, but things will be better. There's always light at the end of the tunnel. There's always a rainbow after a storm. things will be good with this Orioles team. I believe it. We just have to keep believing in this team. I know it's hard. I know it's hard to keep believing. I know it's hard to keep watching this team due to their management, due to just being disappointed. But at the end of the day, I think things will end up being okay with this Orioles team. We'll see if they can go on a run. We'll see what happens. But I still do believe. And hopefully we can go back to this moment and maybe say I told you so. Because maybe they'll come back into this. But even if they don't, obviously things don't look great. But, I still love this team to death, obviously. Still love everything about the city. Still love everything about the team. Just a very rough spot right now with this team and what's going on. And it's just disappointing all around. But things are going to be good. But again, thanks so much for listening to this episode or tuning into it on YouTube or Spotify, wherever you're listening. I appreciate it. I'll have an episode up sometime tomorrow afternoon, probably right after the Orioles, and I'll probably right after the Orioles-Brewers game, Game 3. I'll probably have an episode up sometime tomorrow night or tomorrow afternoon because they do play at noon. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you guys again so much for the support. I'll talk to y'all in the next one. Hope you all have a great rest of y'all's night. Peace out.